Monday. Can a loving wife save her marriage when her husband desires something more?
Yes, I'm looking for something sexy.
His obsession with a seductive call girl
Let me do it all.
threatens to destroy everything.
Coming back to our bed.
William Shatner's the husband. Sybil Shepherd's the pro.
If there's anything you like better, just tell me.
Together, they share the secrets of a married man.
You are incredible.
Next Monday.
The majesty, the might, the mayhem of Marvel Comics leaps off the printed page for larger-than-life action on the Sci-Fi Channel. Join Marvel's own Stan Lee for 2 titanic days with the Incredible Hulk.
One of the great stories of the 20th century.
And the Amazing Spider-Man.
This one's an original.
When the Sci-Fi Channel presents the Mighty Marvel Marathon, hosted by Stan Lee, beginning Sunday, July 4th at 8 a.m.
The Incredible Hulk meets Spider-Man. Each figure a foot tall and fully posable.
All you need is a piece of string, and here comes Spider-Man.
Avalanche! This is a job for the Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk with a face that's mean, lots of muscle and skin that's green. Superhero Hulk.
Good job, handsome.
The Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man from the Superhero Collection, each sold separately by Mego.
If you're looking for adventure this summer, escape with Marvel Comics. Fight crime with Spider-Man, meet the Fantastic Four, and watch Captain America in action. May the Force be with you as you battle the evil empire in Star Wars. Discover the secrets of the South American jungle in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And with Marvel Comics, you're never alone because they can go with you in the car or to the park, even on a rainy day. Marvel Comics are your ticket to fun and adventure this summer.
Hey, what time is it? It's Podblast time!
That's right. It's Podblast time. How you doing? This is your fun and hopefully informative time capsule of memories of days gone by as we forge ahead together in the game of life. I'm your host, Chance Bartels. And as Steve Harvey says at the beginning of Family Feud, every time he hosts it, we've got a good one for you today. And I think we do. We're going to celebrate the 58th anniversary of an ABC TV classic, The Invaders. And also it's the return of Every Issue Ever Made, which is a feature I do here on the Nostalgic Podblast Live, where I show you every cover of a comic book that I have in my collection. So, and I'm only going to go through 31 issues, 31 comic books is all. And we'll get to that too. So there's going to be a lot of trivia and fun along the way. Want to say hey to everyone in the chat. So let's do that right now.
You have a good day today, friends. Yeah. I did.
I had a Superman day.
You had a Superman day. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Spider-Man day.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, you know what? Wait. You know what time it is? It's time for me to see the friends at home in the magic mirror. Romper bumper, stomper boo. Tell me, do. Magic mirror. Tell me today, did all my friends have fun at play? All my friends had fun today. I see David's having a special day today, and Olivia Joy had a special day on Sunday, and I see Robin had a special day yesterday, and Dana's having a special day today, and so is Reginald and Edward John and Margaret, and I see Justin and Megan and Courtney and Brick and Mark and Rachel and Sheila and Caroline are all having special days, and Cicely and Ashley and Matthew and Jose, and I see Bonnie and Anthony and Joe had special days yesterday, and so did Tammy and Brandon and Gregory, and of course, friends, you know I see you, and I'll see you again.
And I see you too. Tracy's Fractured History and More says, hi, you guys. Hey, we had snow today here in Atlanta, Georgia. And by the way, my thoughts and prayers go out to the folks in Southern California and the Los Angeles area. Terrible. Pacific Palisades. You know, I don't want to date the show, but that's going to be a disaster going on for months and years in terms of rebuilding, but they will rebuild. I can't fathom, you know, if my home went up, I don't know what I'd do. So I really struggle on whether I should do a show tonight showing off collectibles when people have lost everything, because I do have a lot of people that watch out in Southern and Northern California and other parts of California, like Sarah. My flock is everywhere on YouTube. So, but I decided, you know what, the show must unfortunately go on. And so I'm here with everybody. I want to say, hey, Tracy asked me in chat the other day when she was live, do you ever get snow in Atlanta? We just got snow today. I don't know the totals of the accumulation, but it's stuck. It's still snowy out. And you know what? I forgot to take pictures. I was going to take pictures and show you, but I didn't do that. Forgive me. I didn't even go outside today. I didn't go outside the house at all. I was working from home in the warmth. Kay Moonin, hey, how you doing down in Florida? Says, congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. I think I'm at 1,080 something. Very grateful. And I'm glad you brought that up. So let me show you this that our friend Chrissy at Brain Benders Banter put together for me. One of several images. I want to say thanks to each and every subscriber. I know most of you just like the videos. You don't necessarily like this program or this show. But whatever brought you to the Podblast, I'm glad you're here, and I will try to cater to what you want to see. So I'm very grateful to the people that helped me gain some subscribers, like Sarah. Sarah really was the first person that helped me have a big push for the milestone. Unfortunately, it means you're going to see commercials on a lot of my videos. And the commercials are already on some of them, which were commercial free. So I'm sorry. And I hope a commercial doesn't pop up in the middle of this live show. It's a necessary evil, I suppose, even though I do have sponsors and whatnot. But so thank you. And when I hit another 1,000, I'm actually going to smile. I'm not smiling very big there in that shot. But so thanks to everybody, to Chrissy, Brain Benders Banter, Corey's comedy channel, Danny Staten. I don't want to leave anybody out, so appreciate it. Now, Danny Staten in South Carolina says, we got about 5 inches of snow this morning, and it's still snowing now. Yeah, we're in the freezing temperature, so nothing is melting. Anything that did partially melt, because I think it got to 34 degrees today, it's now freezing over. So, and I have an eBay set of some Daredevil comics someone bought, 5 comic books that are packed up, ready to go. I can't get to the post office. The post office was closed today, but that's my problem. Let's get to the nostalgic fun. Kay Moon says, Chance, since you got snow, did you beam anybody with a snowball? No, I didn't. Like I said earlier, I didn't even go outside. Congratulations, says Tracy. Thank you. And also, anyone that likes the Space Giants, I'm going to put more episodes up. I just debuted 2 as a premiere episodes, 29 and 30, which are the last Space Giants episodes dubbed into English by Paul Hecht, who was a Broadway actor. He did a lot of movies and TV shows. If you just look him up, look up his IMDb if you're interested. But he only did the first 30 episodes. So a guy named Ray Owens takes over as the voice of Rodak, Goldar, and the narrator. And I'm going to publish the next 2 episodes in the saga. Each storyline is 4 episodes long. So there's really 13 stories in Space Giants, 52 total episodes. So I'll get back to that. And I did it as a premiere. I'm not going to do that again because the visual quality suffered. I noticed other times when I'd rebroadcast a live stream that I did, when it's replayed as a premiere specifically, the visual quality suffers. I don't know why. It didn't look as good as it normally does. So there you go. So more Space Giants are here to come. We got a lot of big stuff planned in 2025. Please tell your friends and listeners, if you want to watch the show, anyone listening at Fistful of Radio out of Atlanta or Apple Podcast or Podbean or Spotify, simply Google search The Nostalgic Podblast in your search engine of choice, preferably Google. And at the top, you'll see The Nostalgic Podblast YouTube channel. Click that. And then always click the live tab once you go to my channel if you want to see my latest live shows, or just click videos if you're only interested in the rare videos. I have a lot of films of my 16mm film collection and VHS collection. I'm going to be unveiling a lot of cool stuff. About to talk in a minute. We'll get to the comic books in a sec, but I want to talk about the Invaders television show, which was a great Quinn Martin show that aired on ABC TV Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock. It ran from January 10th, 1967 until March of 1968. There's 43 episodes. It didn't last long. It debuted as a winter replacement series, so it lasted for 17 episodes in season 1, and then there was a full season for season 2. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Briefly, I've covered the Invaders a lot. Hello to Lance Chafin in Kansas City. How you doing? Good to see you, man. Glad you're here. Esmeralda's here in Washington State. Says hello, Chance and chat. I cannot stay. Just drop by to drop a like and say hello. Hello to you. I know you're always good about watching the replays. I'm going to have a lot of cool artwork, some comic books, some key comic books to show you in a little bit. Now, getting to the Invaders, I don't have a script. I just whipped this show together. I did prepare some video. Now, this should be okay. Now that I'm like monetized fully, and I have to be careful about copyright. That's why I can't even play my theme song. I'm on the hunt for a new theme song. Danny Cochran, friend of the show, hates my theme song, which is Harvest for the World by the Power Station. So I only played a few bars, and I'm in the process of appealing to the rights owners to see if we can do a sharing things, because otherwise all my past lives, only my videos can be fully monetized, but that's my problem, not yours. I'm not in this for money. This is an interactive lecture. This is an educational program. So I don't want to lose sight of what this show is all about. I'm not some greedy guy, but this is from my 16mm film collection, getting back to the Invaders. Let's go back in time to January 10th, 1967, the very first night the Invaders debuted. Now, it was a color program in full color. Next, the Invaders in color. But my print is in black and white, except the commercials are in color. Now, this is the very end of the show. You're going to see a cool little trailer that Hank Sims narrated, who did the guest starring credit in The Fugitive and in The Invaders. You know, tonight's episode, Vicar. You know, it was the guy that would do that announcement. And so you'll hear him in this cool trailer. You'll see Suzanne Plachette before the Bob Newhart show, which really put her on the map. She'd done a lot of acting before the Bob Newhart show, but you're going to see her in this trailer. Let me just roll it. And you're going to see at the very beginning of this is from my film print, what has happened. This is the end of Act 4. No, check that. This is the end of the epilogue. And then it goes to commercial break. And this is the commercial you saw for Ham's Beer. And then it'll play the Invaders trailer. Let's watch.
From the land of sky blue waters comes the water best for brewing. Ham's Beer, refreshing Ham's Beer, capturing the frosty refreshment of this land of magic enchantment. Ham's Beer, refreshing Ham's Beer.
Glass after glass after glass. Ham's, the beer that's brewed with water best for brewing. Tastes best, refreshes you best. The one right beer for those who want another. Tastes so right, it bears repeating.
Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
Ham's tastes so right, it's worth repeating.
It bears repeating.
In the weeks to come, David Vincent's compelling search will lead him to the Invaders.
Give him human form again.
Intelligent beings from a dying planet. Their objective, conquest of our Earth.
All right, you've seen the ship. Now let's get out of here.
Again.
No.
Somehow, he must convince a disbelieving world that the nightmare has already begun.
You are a very foolish man, Mr. Vincent.
Be sure to see The Invaders every week in color on ABC. Tonight's program has been brought to you by
New Chesterfield Menthols. Chesterfield put a full, fresh taste in a menthol cigarette.
ABC, where I'll be seeing you and that girl. I'm Marlo Thomas, and I'd like to invite you to join me every Thursday night.
There you go. So that's how it looked back on January 10th, 1967, 58 years ago. That's my little time machine portion of the Podblast. Here's a nice little autographed image from the star of the Invaders, Roy Thinnis. And I love the spaceship. Yes, it looks primitive by today's special effects standards, but it had a charm to it. And I thought it looked more like a flying saucer. Put you back where you belong, right there. So I want to show you a case now of the Invaders that I'd made with this lady, Deb. I won't mention her last name, with Photoshop back in the year 2000. And I thought it was pretty well done. That's actually from a Dell comic book cover that we scanned from my collection of star Roy Thinnis on the front. On the back are images from Starlog magazine. This is early on, as you can see. They're here. They're attacking. Shout the alarm. That's also from another, I said Dell, Gold Key comic books. I know better. Gold Key had 4 Invaders comic books. I said Dell. It's actually Gold Key comic books. I'm glad I caught my mistake. Roy Thinnis was a really good looking guy. I always thought he looked like that star from the Fast and the Furious who perished, sadly. Oh, let me show you another case we designed. Okay, the cover was always the same, but the back, see, there's a shot of the spaceship. Look at the landing gear. It's like Star Wars with the, in the original Star Wars, you had that giant Jaws craft, and they built like just the legs. What this is, it's at the ship, the top of the ship is superimposed in this shot. All they built in the desert in Southern California were the legs of the ship, kind of like the sand crawler in the original Star Wars from 1977. Lucas just shot the base, and then they used models and things and superimposed shots and artwork to simulate the top of the sand crawler. And so that effect technique goes back to, look here, 1967. All right, so let me just now show you some pictures of the Invaders, and we'll get to the comic books. I only have 31 comic books to share with you tonight, but let's see, Invaders, here we go. Here's a nice publicity still from the Invaders from my collection. This scene was not actually filmed. This is a publicity shot. That's actress Diane Baker on the right. I'm sorry, listeners, I'm being very visual here. Diane Baker was in Silence of the Lambs. She was in The Cable Guy. She's been acting for years. She was in Columbo. She was the woman that Dr. Richard Kimball wound up with in the final episode of The Fugitive, which aired on August 29th, 1967. Yes, I always confuse between August 27th and August 29th. And William Conrad even there, he goes, Tuesday, August 29th, the day the running stopped. But she plays, spoiler alert, in the pilot first episode, she's an alien. And David Vincent doesn't know that. And that little gizmo in front of them is what's called a regeneration tube. And above them, which you can't see out of camera shot, well, you see a part of it. It's a round cylindrical tube. And the aliens find oxygen lethal, which begs the question, why are they wanting to take over our Earth if oxygen is lethal to them? They have to regenerate their bodies every few days to survive on Earth. And there's one episode, Wall of Crystal, the last episode produced in season 1 in production order, which had Peggy Lipton in it. Burgess Meredith, at the time he was playing the Penguin on Adam West's Batman. He played a journalist who had a television show. And David Vincent goes to him with proof of the invaders invading the Earth and said, you've got to talk about this on your television program. And he had to be convinced, Burgess Meredith's character. One of my favorite episodes. Also, it had David Vincent's brother, played by Lyndon Childs, as well as Julie Summers, who played David Vincent's sister-in-law. And I show this a lot, but for new people, she signed for me. This lady is so sweet. She signed for me this comic book, a Gold Key comic book from a show she did called The Governor and JJ, which lasted 2 seasons. And I just love that. She's real pretty, and she was so good in the episode. She's pregnant in the Invaders episode, Wall of Crystal. And the aliens push her in a chamber trying to suffocate her with child. It's terrible. And Ed Asner's in that episode as well. It's an all-star cast, Wall of Crystal. And The Invaders airs on MeTV presently in the wee hours of the morning on Saturday into Sunday morning, technically Sunday morning. And yeah, I sent, get this, Julie Summers, I hate to put this on the air, but I've said it before. She was so sweet. I sent her 2 comic books. I said, keep one and please sign one. And I sent her some cash. She returned the cash. And so she paid for the shipping out of her own pocket. What a sweet lady. Look at that. 2 Chance. Anyway, there she is. Julie Summers. So The Invaders is an awesome show. And little tip, there was a final episode that resolved the storyline. I have it on 16mm film. It's called The Life Seekers, which had Barry Morse in it. Barry Morse is best known for playing Lieutenant Philip Gerard in The Fugitive, as well as Professor Victor Bergman in season 1 only of Space 1999, a science fiction show I love, which starred Martin Landau, Barbara Bain, and Barry Morse in season 1. So it's a very, very good show. If you like the Quinn Martin shows like The FBI, starring Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. and The Fugitive, Barnaby Jones. I mean, these were quality dramas, great acting, great directing, great writing, a lot of serious stuff going on. Sometimes it'll be a little humor mixed in, but it's a very good drama. So I would recommend The Invaders. And here's the star of The Invaders at age 86. He's 86 now, Roy Thinnis. There's a recent photograph of the star of The Invaders, and he's an architect. Before Mike Brady, architect Mike Brady showed up on the Brady Bunch, whom Gene Hackman was going to play in the Brady Bunch. He was the original choice. He turned it down. But this guy's an architect too. His character, David Vincent, is an architect too. In the middle of the night, in the first episode, first moments of the first episode and pilot, he's looking for some hot coffee on a long business trip, driving on a lonely country road, and he thinks he finds Bud's Diner, pulls in, and he sees a ship land. He sees this ship land. And he's just shocked. And he's wide awake at that point, coffee or no, you know. And so, and along the way, he learns interesting things about the Invaders. Okay, they have a crooked, some of them have a mutated 4th finger, so their pinky sticks out. He learns they have no pulse, no heartbeat. They don't bleed when they're cut. There's several times where invaders are cut. You see a big gash in their flesh with no blood. Pretty cool little prosthetic effect. And also, they burn up and disappear when they're killed. Like if they get shot or their little membrane is pierced from the regeneration that protects them from Earth's oxygen that needs to be constantly regenerated, they just burn up and disappear. It's a really good optical effect by Van der Veer Special Effects House, which also worked in some episodes of Star Trek. Speaking of classic Star Trek, I didn't really care for Van der Veer's laser effect. You could tell, like an episode Operation Annihilate, the last season 1 episode of the original Star Trek, like they would do a thicker laser beam effect. They had a couple different special effects houses. I hate to sound like Al Hardy. I didn't care for the way Van der Veer effects did the phaser effect of the hand phaser. Speaking of hand phasers, look what I got for Christmas. I got an original phaser. I'm going to fire it off. Now look, we don't want, this thing will get hot, but it's a little chilly and you turn down the heat. This gets really hot really quickly. We don't want to, listen, kids, you know, don't play with matches. God, I hate to say that with what's going on in reality, but I'm going to fire this thing. It's set to stun. You can set it to stunning force. Cover your ears. It gets kind of loud. I just want to heat up this rock over here. Hang on. It's kind of chilly. Oh, God. It burned my hand. Get off. God. Damn. I knew that would happen. It burned my hand. Son of a gun. That's my face. Actually, I was kidding. I didn't get it for Christmas. I've had that for years. I've had that for since 1987. I'm old, man, as the gray indicates. Okay, so let's get on to the comic books. But before I do, there's an Invaders model kit ad from 1968 from Aurora Models from the back of a comic book, a DC comic book from 68. Isn't that cool? I just love that image. It's so neat. I just love it. And I have that kit. Let me look for it. I think it's right here. Oh, yes, it's right here. Oh, let's see. Yeah. I have a couple of these. Let me show you what it looks like here. This is a reissue. It just says the UFO that I got some years ago. I think I paid $15 each, sealed. But it's the same ship, same based on the Aurora model kit that Monogram reissued. There you go. I love making models. Okay, so there's that. Now, let me look at the chat and then we'll get started talking about the comic books. Every issue ever made of Hero for Hire. There's 16 issues. It became Luke Cage, Hero for Hire is the original title. It became Power Man. And then I'm going to show you every issue of Iron Fist. There's just 15 issues of that. There's 16 issues of Hero for Hire, 15. So that's 31 total issues. We're going to look at just the covers and some of the interior of the first appearance of Luke Cage. But let me look at the chat real quick. Let's see. I think there's some just nice conversations going on between folks. Oh, Lance is asking where's TD at. TD is going to be on Brain Bender's Banter's Saturday night show that I'm on. I'm the co-host on that show on Brain Bender's Banter. She'll be back. She's coming back, I think, this Saturday. But that's before we all realized that she's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. They're playing Saturday night against the Ravens. Hate to date the show and don't want to talk about sports. But so I don't know if she's going to be back this Saturday or not. She was supposed to be, but I'm not going to be there. But you're asking about her. So just stay with if you're not subscribed to Brain Bender's Banner, subscribe to her channel. I simul stream when I'm on. Yeah, and then there you go. That's cool, man. I know you will, K. Boonin. Okay. All right. So Nito UFO kit. Thank you. Yeah, I want to build it because I have two. I have one in storage and one here with me here at home. But I appreciate that. You're a youngster to me. Thank you, Tracy. You're a sweetheart. And I appreciate your interest in the space giants. Danny State in South Carolina said, be careful with those phasers. They blow and overload. Yeah, they sure do. They'll knock down a wall. Yeah, we saw that in Star Trek, right? Okay. So, yeah, the Invaders was great. And the Invaders in real life, we've had some issues, true, with ships similar, not really, to the ones in the Invaders. The Invaders ships are more like saucers, but been a lot of weird stuff going on in New Jersey. Hey, I heard on the news today, a drone hit a plane in Southern California and it pierced it and it punched a huge hole in the airplane. Crazy. All right. So there's that. Now let's talk about the comic books. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to go in chronological order. I want to show you, let's start. I need to pull up something really quickly that I didn't really have time to prepare like I normally do. Let me just look up one little thing. See if I can play a clip while I do this so I'm not just umming and ahhing awkwardly. Let me see if I can play a clip real quick. Let me find an appropriate nostalgic clip. Yeah, I have one more. Let's look at this cute commercial. This is a comic book related commercial for Crystal. I've played it before, not Crystal, White Castle hamburgers. I've played it before, but it's been a while and you might not have seen it. So let me play that now while I pull up information about each comic book that I'm going to share with you right now. Let me find that. Oh, it's right here. This is kind of a cute commercial. It's just 30 seconds long. From 1989, I believe.
Oh, my brother's comic! The Adventures of Castle Mill. Whoa! Spider-Man! It's Captain America! Silver Surfer! Wow, She-Hulk!
Hey, twerp! You better not be in my... Mom, these are my comics again! Marvel superhero Sandpels and Shovels. One included with every Castle Mill. Captain America, Silver Surfer, Spider-Man, and She-Hulk. You can collect a different one each week at White Castle.
That's kind of cute. Okay, so we are going to get started talking about Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. Now, there was a series on Netflix some years ago, Luke Cage. So he has been brought to live action. But let me just tell you a little bit about Luke Cage, and I'll put his issue number 1 on the screen right here. This will be the first comic we feature, and this is from my collection. I'll show it to you as proof. Here it is. This is it. This is a book from 1972. Mine's in really nice shape. And here is a nice close-up shot of it. And there it is. Let me now change my camera shot so that, I'm sorry, listeners. I don't know if I'm going to put this on my audio platforms because it's very, very visual. There we go. That's a little bit better. So Hero for Hire issue number 1. I'm going to tell you about Luke Cage and who he is. Let me just let you know that this comic book first hit the public on newsstands and comic book spinner racks way back on March 21st, 1972. That was a Tuesday, with a June 1972 cover date. Archie Goodwin wrote and created the character, and it was really funny. This guy wrote, a lot of funny slang that Luke Cage would say. He was a prisoner. He was an ex-con who turned to the good side of things, solving crimes and taking on the bad guys. But let me just tell you a little bit about a history of the comic book character. So Luke Cage was born as Carl Lucas, but he's also known as Power Man. And of course, Marvel Comics published the comic book, created by Archie Goodwin and artist George Tuska and writer Roy Thomas and John Romita Sr. That cover is by John Romita Sr., who was the second artist to take over The Amazing Spider-Man after Steve Ditko quit Marvel in 1966. John Romita Sr., did I say Jr.? John Romita Sr. took over drawing Spider-Man with issue number 39, and he also drew this cover right here. I love John Romita Sr.'s artwork. So there's that. So this issue from March of 72, it's one of the earliest comic books to feature a black superhero. You had, before him, it debuted in 1966, the Black Panther, T'Challa. But then you had this guy, and he was more real, I think. And he was created during the height of the blaxploitation film genre. You had movies like Blackula and the like at that time. And so Marvel wanted to, ride that wave of popularity. And Luke Cage had been imprisoned for a crime he did not commit. And he gained the powers of superhuman strength and unbreakable skin after being subjected voluntarily to an experimental procedure, kind of like Steve Rogers and Captain America. He was like a little wimp dweeb, thin. I'm not trying to use derogatory terminology, but Steve Rogers, he was thin. If you saw the movie or read the books or seen any origin story of Steve Rogers, Captain America, he underwent an experiment just like Luke Cage did. Now, once freed from prison, he becomes a hero for hire. He's a mercenary, and he has 49 issues of solo adventures, with the comic book being renamed Luke Cage Power Man with issue 17. That's why I'm only going to show issues 1 through 16 tonight. But I have all the rest too, but that's another story. In issue number 50 of Luke Cage Power Man, he teamed up with fellow superhero Iron Fist, whom we'll talk about in a moment. Iron Fist is a white guy. He's a kung fu guy. Again, Marvel was sort of capitalizing on the popularity of the Bruce Lee movies, and then you had the kung fu television series starring David Carradine in the early and mid 1970s. Very popular show, actually, on television. But he teamed up with Iron Fist down the line as part of a crime-fighting duo. Now, I showed you the first appearance of Iron Fist. That was in Marvel Premiere issue 15 from my collection. Did that last time. By the way, I've done these streams every issue ever made. I've covered every issue of the Defenders, every issue of Marvel Premiere, which I just mentioned, every issue of what's that one? The one the Defenders came from, Marvel. I'm getting Alzheimer's. Oh my Lord. Marvel. I know it. Marvel. Hold Hold on. I'm going to look that up. Marvel. I can't believe it's escaping me. It became Marvel 2-in-1. Oh, we looked at every issue of Marvel 2-in-1. I know I said I'd talk about and show Marvel Team Up, pivoting to Spider-Man, but there's 150 issues of Marvel Team Up, and I just whipped this together on a whim. The Defenders. Oh, man, what was that damn book? Marvel's The Defenders. Let me look this up, folks. Not The Defenders, just The Defenders. Damn. First appeared. Not having a D key on your main computer really is a drag. Marvel feature. That's it. Marvel feature. Righto. Okay, so we covered all of the Marvel features. Every issue ever made of, what were the other ones we did? Well, we did several. They're all in my live tab on the Nostalgic Podblast Facebook. I'm sorry, in the Nostalgic Podblast YouTube channel. All right, let me see something here. Now I got myself curious because I can't even remember what other every issue ever made I did. I got it right here. Let me just look that up real quick. Every issue ever made. Go to my videos. Okay, I started the first one I did last fall. Let me see. Scroll. Let's see. Ghost Rider. How could I forget? I did every issue of the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. There's 81 issues of that book. And that was 4 months ago. Right. So that's how this series began. And these are comics I'm showing from my collection. I photograph as many as I can, or I'll just hold them up for the camera. Yeah, I started with Ghost Rider, and then I did every issue ever made of Marvel Feature and Marvel 2-in-1, because Marvel Feature became Marvel 2-in-1, a comic book from Marvel Comics that featured The Thing and a guest star. Then every issue ever made of The Defenders, and then Marvel Premiere. Right, and that's the last one we did, Marvel Premiere. So I'm trying to like have some continuity. So I decided instead of doing Marvel Team Up, let's talk about Iron Fist, since we talked about his first appearance and showed his first appearance from my collection the last time we did every issue ever made, Marvel Premiere. Okay, so we got through all that. So that's basically who this character is. He's an ex-con who was improperly imprisoned, who underwent an experiment. And the character has been adapted from the comics into various forms of media. Mike Coulter portrayed the character in that Netflix show series, Jessica Jones, in 2015 to 2019, and Luke Cage from 2016 to 2018, and The Defenders 2017 on Netflix. Now everything that's Marvel related is on Disney Plus, streaming for your entertainment at your fingertips. So in 1971, when the success of the movie Shaft had reached an interracial audience, Stan Lee decided it was time to go beyond the Black Panther and Captain America's partner, the Falcon, another black superhero. And by the way, the new Captain America movie will be out soon on Valentine's Day 2025. I'm excited about it. It's going to have the Red Hulk. Harrison Ford is in it as General Thunderbolt Ross, an enemy of Bruce Banner, a.k.a. the Incredible Hulk, and the father of Betty Ross, the love interest of Bruce Banner. So you have that Romeo and Juliet effect in the comic book stories that Stan Lee came up with, that forbidden fruit romance story. So Stan Lee, he toyed with the notion of a Falcon solo comic book, but probably felt the Falcon was better off where he was, alongside Captain America. It was literally called Captain America and the Falcon for a long time in the early 1970s, late 60s, early 1970s. And what he was perhaps not as strong as a character that he wanted in terms of the Falcon. So let's see. Oh, this is, let me back up. Roy Thomas, who is a Marvel Comics writer, he was kind of the successor to Stan Lee when Stan Lee took a step back in the late 60s, early 1970s. Here he is talking about the creation of the character of Luke Cage, hero for hire, Power Man. Let me start all over. In 1971, when the success of the movie Shaft had reached an interracial audience, Stan Lee decided it was time to go beyond the Black Panther and Captain America's partner, the Falcon, as a support character. I think he briefly toyed with the notion of a Falcon comic book, but probably felt the Falcon was better off where he was, and that he was perhaps not as strong a character as we needed. When he mentioned that he wanted to work up a new African-American superhero who would be a bit different and would start right out in his own comic book, he asked me for my suggestions as to the writer. I didn't feel I should do the character myself, so I suggested Archie Goodwin. Although Jerry Conway, Jerry with a G, Len Wein, and others must have crossed my and Stan Lee's mind. Archie Goodwin, Stan, and I, with John Romita Sr., perhaps present, spent an hour or so in deliberations within the next day or so, and each of us contributed something to the mix. Stan's was definitely the guiding hand, because he knew he wanted a superhero who was off the beaten track, off to make a living at crime fighting, like a private eye, a private dick, if you will, private detective, and with a different look or feel than a typical superhero, even a Marvel one. Romita helped provide that, of course, with the outfit that was perfectly suited to the 1970s, including the chains. Stan was looking for a name for the character. I suggested Cage, which later I realized I'd seen sometime before on a list of potential character names that Gil Kane had shown me, artist Gil Kane had shown me, and had consciously forgotten about. Archie would add the name Luke, when he did the script later. Stan wanted an untypical name for the magazine as well. Not a usual superhero name, but something indicated what he was. I'd recently written an Avengers issue titled Heroes for Hire, so I suggested the title Hero for Hire. As for powers, I suggested he be very strong and bulletproof, although bullets could cause him some discomfort by raising temporary welts on his skin, etc. The character of the Gladiator in the Daredevil comic book, a villain of Daredevil, was my main inspiration here. Though Stan and I agreed that we didn't want him to have Hugo Danner's leaping abilities, which had been borrowed by Superman years before. And the Incredible Hulk could leap. A lot of people will see a cover of the Incredible Hulk that's not a comic book collector or aficionado and say, I didn't know the Hulk could fly. He really can't fly. He can just leap with his super muscles, his gamma radiated muscles. He could leap in the comic books and in some of the cartoons as well. He can leap. And in the movies, we saw him leap a little bit. Now, Archie Goodwin, I believe, came up with the precise escaped innocent prisoner concept, like the fugitives. Though Stan probably contributed to that as well. Stan Lee watched a lot of television and got ideas from TV. Like The Leader was based on an Outer Limits episode from season 1 titled Sixth Finger, starring David McCallum, the season before the original Man from U.N.C.L.E. television show debuted. David McCallum played a guy who was experimented on, and he wound up going into a machine that a scientist had devised that will accelerate or decelerate mankind in terms of evolution. And he got like literally a huge head, the character. And that's the leader who will be in the new Captain America movie. Was another guy that was irradiated by gamma radiation. Gamma radiation affected people differently. Even Betty Ross became eradicated by gamma radiation in the comic books in the early 1970s, becoming the Harpy. She was like a flying mermaid, but she was more of a bird. She was a Harpy. And then you had the Abomination, who we saw in She-Hulk and in the Incredible Hulk movie before that from 2009, played by Roth. But anyway, so the leader became a super intellect, and literally his cranium grew with the size of his brain. So let's see. I digress there a little bit. Okay, so Archie Goodwin came up with the prisoner is innocent and he escapes concept, though Stan Lee contributed to that as well. And out of the committee of 4 counting John Romita Sr.'s concept sketches was Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, and Hero for Hire was born. And Romita commented on the design of the character, stating, "We did it together. The chains were because we wanted the slavery angle. His costume was supposed to say superhero, yet not superhero. It was whatever he salvaged when he escaped from prison. He had the yellow shirt and headband and wristbands to contrast with his black skin," unquote. Okay, let me just skip ahead. Okay, ultimately, Power Man and Iron Fist, because the book evolved, lasted for 125 issues, with the last issue being released to the public in June of 1986 in terms of print. And I have all of those. It's just I didn't want to show 125 issue covers. Okay, I think we've covered the character origin pretty adequately. Let me look up something else now. And we're going to just talk about Iron Fist in a bit, but let me just show you the 16 covers of this comic book when it was titled Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. Let me just do one thing first, though. And we're going to talk about the value of this book. I'm sure Danny Staten, I can't see the chat at the moment. He's probably like, "I'm tired of looking at that picture." I know you like a book, brother. Okay, now let me do this. I want to look up the value of this book that you see here. Before I do that, let's open up the book. There's page 1. Out of Hell, a Hero. That's the title of the story. Now I'm going to turn the page. This is my actual comic book. I have a couple copies of this book. There's pages 2 and 3. There he is in prison. Anyone who's watching on a television that can pause, maybe you can read that if you have a nice giant screen TV. I don't know, listeners, if you know this, you can watch this show on your television. And people that are watching on a computer or a phone, there's a free YouTube app. I know a lot of people know this. This is like common sense to most people, but a lot of people don't know this. If you don't even need really a smart TV. If you have a Roku box or something, a device you plug into a USB port that allows you to stream content, just download the free YouTube app and then search the Nostalgic Podblast, and boom, you can watch the show on your television. So anyway, getting back to the comic book, there it is. There's pages 2 and 3. And look who's on in an ad. Arnold Schwarzenegger, 1972, with a babe on his shoulder, in an ad that appeared in many comic books that month, including Luke Cage, Hero for Hire issue 1 from March of 1972. Isn't that cool? Now I'm going to tell you about the value of this comic book. So the value, according to GoCollect.com. Now, I've said this before. This is actual. These are actual numbers of auctions. These are sales figures of auctions of graded comic books. So I don't have access to the full list because you have to pay. It used to be a free service, GoCollect.com. They charge memberships like everything else now. I'm going to tell you what these have sold for lately. Now, I think it's going to go up as the economy hopefully improves here in 2025. Verifying you're a human. Okay, yeah. God dang it, it's not the right one. Hang on, let me get this. There's all sorts of Luke Cage books. Give me a sec. Got to put in 1972. And let's just look at what this is selling for according to Go Collect data. Okay, of actual auctions. Wow, a 9.6, which this might grade a 9.6, sold for $4,839. That's a 1-year average. Its 90-day average, the last 3 months, is $4,839. So it went up because the 30-day average was $3,918. So its comic book sales are already starting to pick up. The lifetime average is $5,750 in a 9.6. A 9.8 is worth even more. And these are actual sales. I'm going to look up something in terms of non-graded. This issue, Luke Cage, Hero for Hire #1 from 1972, according to KeyCollectorComics.com. I don't know how they gathered their data. They say a high grade book is $400. I don't know if that's based on actual sales data. What I like about Go Collect, that's actual sales, but of graded books, meaning entombed in plastic like this, airtight, watertight, and it protects the book from eroding. And supposedly it'll last for 100 years. Now, some key facts about this book. Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. It's obviously the first appearance and origin of Luke Cage, the first black superhero to headline a title in mainstream comics. That's right, because this is before Black Panther had his own solo title. Black Panther was first introduced in Fantastic Four issue number 48 from early 1966. And he was in Avengers books. His origin was in the Avengers. Luke Cage became invincible. Luke Cage became invincible to harm through a super soldier program called Project Power, otherwise known as Weapon 7. And this is also the first appearance of Diamondback and Comanche of Shades. The first appearance of Diamondback, Comanche, and Shades. All right, so now we're going to move along to the next cover. This took a lot of setting up. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the character. Now I'm going to quickly show you the other comic books. So there's that one. And here's my copy. This is that very copy. And look at this cool. Let me look at this. This is a reprint, but look, it's like a hologram. Isn't that cool? Whew, it's like an optical illusion. Let me put my camera on here. Change my camera shot so you can see this. See it a little bit better. I should take it out of the plastic, but look at that. It's kind of a trip. I'm going to take it out of the plastic bag because I think it's neat. Oh, it's still got a glare. Darn it. Woo. It's like SCTV 3D. All right, so there's that one. Let's get on to issue number 2 of Hero for Hire, which is right there. Vengeance is mine is the title of the story. Got to be careful with this book. This is a $5,000 book. If I get it graded and it becomes back a 9.6, I could sell it for $5,000, but I'm not going to sell it. I might sell. That's my best copy right there. No siree, bobtail. Okay, so here's the next issue. Let's look at when this book came out. Let's see. Issue number 2, actual street date, was May 23rd, 1972. This was what they call a bi-monthly book. It was released every other month. So it was out every 60 days. You'd have a new issue. So that's May 23rd, 1972. Are you interested in the values of this book as well? Let me look this one up. This might slow us down, though. I don't know if I should do this with every book, but I do want to see if there was a key book in these 16 issues aside from the first edition. I know there's some first appearances that are notable. Let me see here. Luke Cage. It's a real nice shape. Look at that book. Hero for Hire, issue 2. So I didn't have time to prepare this. I normally would have all this. Go Collect. Let's look at Go Collect. I'm really interested in Go Collect. I'm not a big grader. I buy books that are already graded. I've never mailed any off or gone to a convention where sometimes people will grade on the spot. CGC will grade on the spot at a convention. All right. A 9.6 of this book, one-year average is only $144. FMV, fair market value, is $220 in terms of a graded 9.6. A 9.8, that's typically the highest grade. There are 9.9s and even a 10 out there, but it's very, very rare. 9.8 is typically the universal highest grade that you could get from CGC, which is like the #1 grading comic book service. And they're in Florida State. There's that. Let me look up Hero for Hire issue 2 in terms of key collector comic books. Key collector, and they are so flawed though. Like key collectors, they're neat because in terms of they'll tell you what's key about the book, but their values are way off. They say a high grade copy of Hero for Hire 2 is $125. Key facts about the second issue of Luke Cage Hero for Hire. It's the second appearance of Luke Cage. We knew that. The death of Diamondback and the first appearance of Claire Temple, a night nurse. There's another book called Night Nurse. Didn't last long. I have all 4 issues of that book. I love that. It was from 1972 as well. Okay, let me get back on track and let's move on to the next issue. There's issue 3 of Hero for Hire. Mace is his name. Murder is his game. There's issue 3. And this issue hit the public back on July 18th, 1972. I just love this artwork. I think it's so cool. Now, in terms of the values, I'm going to try to pick up the pace here, folks. First, I'm going to do this in a different order. Look at the key collector data. This is the first appearance of Gideon Mace, and it's obviously the third appearance of Luke Cage. High grade, according to key collectors, $45, but graded comic would be the tables are building tables, $180. 9.6. It's a 1-year average of actual graded copies. And it doesn't matter if it's CGC. It could be any grading company, any auction on record. So that's real data there in terms of the value. Okay. Let's move on to the next issue. The next issue, obviously, is Hero for Hire issue number 4, The Phantom of 42nd Street. Let me just quickly see if that is a thing. Issue number 4. God damn it. Oh, excuse me, Lord. Oh, sorry, I cussed. Sorry about that, folks. All right, I hate cussing like that. Okay. All right, Hero for Hire, issue number 4. God bless America. I am messing up bad tonight. Okay, number 4. $300, $300, graded 9.6. Again, that's subjective. This might not grade a 9.6. It might grade a 9.8. It might grade a 9.0. It might grade an 8.5. I don't know. It really makes a big difference, of course, what the grade is. Let me see here. And oh man, let me find one thing here. Issue number 4. Okay, we're going to move on to the next issue, issue 5. There's issue 5 from my collection. These are actual copies from my actual collection. Well, I got to change my camera shot again. And then there's only 16 issues of this book. There we go. That's better. Hey. So there's my issue number 1. There's my reprint. Let me just prove that these are my copies you're seeing. There's issue number 2. And then here comes issue number 3. Issue number 4. Just a review. Sorry about the glare. Yeah, this definitely won't be an audio show. It's just too visual. Issue number 5, the one we're talking about right now. Now, one of the distributors wrote in the R. You see that? You can see that writing on the cover. And a lot of times I've been told that grading companies will not deduct. Some grading companies won't deduct for that if there's pencil or ink with a date or a timestamp, because that's just how they could identify in terms of circulation distribution purposes when it's time to remove the book. So there's that one. And let's look at the information about issue 5 in terms of what might be key about it. It's not a key. Okay. But the value, let me look at the actual values of issue 5. $110 with $113 average in terms of graded copies. Okay. let me do one thing. I don't think I mentioned when this book was released to the public. It was released on oh, I see what I did wrong. Dummy. I'm a dummy. Righto. Okay. I did mention issue 4 was released on the one I showed previously. That was from September 12th, 1972. Talking about this one. That's from, September 12th, 1972. But issue 5 of the first 16 was from October 17th, 1972. Right there. Let's move on to issue number 6. There's Luke Cage issue 6. And this hit the street on November 14th, 1972. Assassin in Armor. I'm going to pull something up real quick. That's what she said. Let me get to something. It just occurred to me it'll make this process a lot faster and smoother. If I go, yes, I can just scroll and see what the key issues are. Issue 4, I already showed that, was the first appearance of Phil Fox. Issue 5, first appearance of Black Mariah. No relation to Mariah Carey, who was probably an infant when that book hit in 1972. Okay, so the next key isn't until issue 9. Very good. So I can hurry along. Now we're going to talk about issue 7. All right, November 14th, 72 is issue 6. Issue 7 was from December 12th, 72. So it became monthly. The sales were strong at this point. So they went ahead and started publishing these books monthly. There's issue 7 from my collection. There's 6 that I photographed for you. And here's 7. That copy you see there from my collection. Let's just show you issue number 8. We've gone over an hour already. Issue 8. Surprise supervillain. Guess who it is? I'm going to check in on the chat. I was going to wait till I finish with Hero for Hire. Let me just see if anybody's out there. Hey, what's up, Face the Ace? How you doing, brother? Thank you. Tracy's still here. Holy crap. My flock, you shouldn't have done that. That's so sweet. She gave me a super sticker, a $10 super sticker. Wow. That is very, very generous. Because I know things are tight for you. Girl, I thank you for that. Man. Boy. I owe you. I'm going to have to be a guest or something on a stream you got coming up. I'm sorry it took so long to notice that. I couldn't see the chat just because I'm looking at the values of these books. I have all these different screens up. Yeah, the ad was cute with Arnold Schwarzenegger, wasn't it, Tracy? I'm sorry it took so long to get with you. Keebler's here. Keebler. Danger, no sugarcoating truth says, I'm over 900 views and gained 30 subscribers since YouTube finally decided to push one of my songs. Very good. I'm so happy for you. You're such a selfless, sweet person. And Tracy, it said Nito UFO kit. Yeah. So sorry, guys. And God, I can't believe that. Thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. That really helps me want to keep going. It really does. Thank you, Sarah. Very, very much. That's so, so sweet. Isn't she just such a nice person? I mean, man. Wow. So there's issue number. Have you guessed who the villain is? All right. You can see them on the right on that image there. A surprise supervillain. Who do you think it would be? Here's my copy of that book. I mean, you're looking at both like that. That's a photo I took earlier today of this very comic book. Well, I'm going to reveal it right now, but I don't think I mentioned yet when that book hit the public. So let me do that. Got it right here. Issue 8 first hit the comic book spinner racks back on January 16th, 1973. So now we're into 1973. And in the next issue, issue 9, we see who that mystery supervillain was. This is from February 20th, 1973. My sister's birthday. That was before she was born, though, but she was born on February 20th. It was Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom. How about that? Thank you, Tracy. I like it too. Well, no thanks to me. I mean, I agree. It's just, it's an awesome, awesome series. And the writing is hysterical. Archie Goodwin wrote some funny lines, like really funny urban sayings like, you mother, I mean, no profanity, of course. That's a bad example. I mean, there's some really clever, funny lines. And I never watched the Netflix show. I don't know if that ever translated to live action, but really good writing. I love reading this title. I mean, even as a kid, when I was in middle school, it's the first time I read it and got these books, these comics, and I would read them in class when I should have been paying attention to the teacher. And I was just cracking up. What's so funny? What are you laughing, Chance? And I'm like, it's just a comic book. And a lot of times they took the comic book from me. But I was laughing specifically at this title, at some of the dialogue, some of the things that Luke Cage said. Hysterical. But that's a cool cover with Dr. Doom, isn't it? Let me see what he's saying here. Oh, it's right here. Let's see. Dr. Doom is saying,
none may invade my kingdom. Here it is I who have the power of life and death.
Showdown with Dr. Doom. That's an unlikely hero and villain combination, I think. All right, let's move on to issue number 10. There's issue 10. Oh, number 9 was key. Let me go back to my key list. I just remembered. I have it pulled up right here. So what's key about issue 9? It's a classic story where Luke Cage storms Dr. Doom's castle in Latvia to collect $200 that he's owed for tracking down some missing robots. High grade, ungraded is $50 on this book. I bet it's, of course, graded. It would sell for much more. Let me just quickly look that one up. Look that one up. Open that window. Come on, Chance. You're live. I gotta have a sip of some Sunkist. You know, I should be having some hot coffee on a cold day like this. It's below below freezing temperatures here in Atlanta with ice on the ground and snow. Here I am drinking the only leading major orange soda that has caffeine in it, Sunkist. So, Hero for Hire, issue 9. GoCollect.com is my source. Actual sales of actual graded books. I'm just curious to see what this is selling for in high grade, because my copy's a high grade. It's not graded, though, obviously. $400. No, 1 year average $560. It's going to go up. This is in a bad economy. Now that people hopefully start having more disposable income, the values will go up. I mean, I'm sitting on a lot of books that I have doubles of that I'm waiting to sell in the hopes that the economy will improve and I can make more money off it, you know, to buy more comic books. Okay, so let's look at issue number 10. March 20th, 1973 was when this hit the public. And there it is. And it says, we'll prove I have it, that I didn't just find this image on the internet. Nope, this is a photo of my actual book. It says, you may be bulletproof, Cage, but let's see how long those cast iron lungs of yours will... Let me start over. Take 2. You may be bulletproof, Cage, but let's see how long those cast iron lungs of yours keep you alive when this drain fills up with water. Excuse me. They call him Mr. Death. Catch my breath. March 20th, 1973. Let me see if it's a key. Hey, that rhymes. It's not. The next key is issue 12. So let's hurry along here on March 20th, 1973, when that book was released. The heck with Go Collect. I'm just going to move along in the interest of time. Here's issue 11. Ooh, how before the game show Wheel of Fortune, which just celebrated this week its 50th anniversary, it debuted on NBC television as a daytime show with Chuck Woolery hosting, with Susan Stafford spinning the letters back when letters needed to be spun. But this says on the cover, Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Doom. How about that? And that, so, well, Wheel of Fortune, I guess, is an expression, of course. It's not something Merv Griffin created. He created the show Wheel of Fortune. But yeah, Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Doom. That's pretty neat. Let me just see when it was released to the public, and we'll move on to the next key issue according to Key Collector Comics. And there's only 16 of these I'm going to show you. So we're starting to pick up the pace. This issue, number 11, was first released on April 17th, 1973. So again, it's monthly. It's still monthly. Issue 12 is right here. Nice condition in terms of my copy. Here it is in a bag and board. And I rebagged all these. The bags needed to be changed. So when I took the photos, I put fresh comic book bags on them. It says, "You're through, Cage. You're through, Cage, courtesy of Chemistro." Or Chemistro. Chemical? Chemistro. "You're through, Cage, courtesy of Chemistro." And then Luke Cage is saying, "You ain't kidding. You turned the floor into glass right under my feet. And I weigh 300 pounds. When I hit, I'm going to hit hard." Indeed. So that's issue 12, and it's a key. Let me see what the key notes are. I have them right here pulled up. The first appearance of, oh, you guessed it, Chemistro. There you go. I'm going to move along to the next issue. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Doom. Damn it. What did I do? Oh, I didn't talk about that. Yeah, this one here that you see on the screen with Chemistro was from May 22nd, 1973. Yeah, thank gosh I got that in. I almost forgot to mention the date of publication. Next issue was from June 19th, 1973, and it's right here. It's issue 13 of Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. There's only 16 of these before it became Power Man. I'm not going to show you Power Man and Iron Fist. I just want to show you the Hero for Hire titles. There's issue 13. Let's move on to issue 14. There's issue 14. There's my 13 issue, by the way. Whoops. Just as proof. This isn't a magic trick. These are real. From my collection. All right. So, God bless America. I got to be careful. My number 1 issue of Luke Cage just hit my foot. I got to be careful. Let me back up. Issue 14 right here. Retribution. Let's see. Who's talking here? Oh, this is funny. The villain saying, maybe you can knock your way through a brick wall, Hero Man, but you're nothing compared to Big Ben. And then Luke Cage says, "We'll see, Man Mountain. We'll just see." That's issue 14. Only 2 more to go. And I don't think I mentioned when this hit the street. Hero for Hire issue 14 that you're seeing on your screen now. It's from July 17th, 1973, just after the 4th of July, 73. Let me see if it's a key real quick. Bless America. 14 is a key. First appearance of Big Ben Donovan, a lawyer and a criminal. And it's the origin of Luke Cage is retold. All right. Moving on. To issue 15. Right here. My copy. Let's read the front. Should have been doing this all along. It has a little nice blurb circle on the right of the comic book. America's first and foremost black superstar. And Luke says, "Look out, world. I'm busting out." Like of jail, of prison. And it says, "It had to happen. Luke Cage's tragic past threatens to destroy him in Cage Goes Wild." The first issue just said sensational origin issue. Now, the street date of this book, issue 15 of Luke Cage, was August 14th, 1973. And now at last, this next one's a key. It's the final issue with the Hero for Hire title. And it is from September 11th of all days, 1973. Issue 16. And this is a key, and I'll tell you why. There's the cover. It's the first appearance and origin of Stiletto. Let's read the cover. The cover, Luke Cage is saying,
"Forget it, knife thrower. Those things won't save you from power like mine."
And then he's thinking, Stiletto's thinking, wait till he learns my next blade is designed to electrocute him. And then the caption says, the box, "Watch out, Luke Cage, when you shake hands with Stiletto." Now, mine's in really nice shape. Let me just see. Yeah, I already mentioned the date. Okay, so there you go. And I'm going to hold it up. And now we can move on to another 15 issues, the final 15 issues we're going to look at today. Got to really be careful with this issue number 1. It's in really super nice shape. First appearance and origin, sensational origin issue of Luke Cage Hero for Hire. Let me just put these somewhere out of the way where I won't mess them up. Now it's time to talk about Iron Fist. Let me look at the chat, though. Take a break. Look at the chat. See who's out there. I need some Red Bull. It's past my bedtime. Need to hibernate on the cover, says Keebler. Yeah, I know. I debated, should I do it Saturday, this stream, or tonight? But I wanted, because it's the Invaders, the 58th anniversary of the debut of one of my favorite TV shows, The Invaders by Quinn Martin. I talked about at the top of the show. I told myself, just go live. Maybe people will watch the replay that have turned in and gone to bed. I'm not going to go much longer anyway. I'm just going to cover the rest of these books, these comic books. All right, these books are in super nice condition. Now we're talking Iron Fist. So let me just shift gears a bit and get to Iron Fist. Hey, Judgment Day, Mike Harper. How are you doing? How you doing? Showing some comic books from my collection tonight. This is Every Issue Ever Made. It's a series I've been doing for a while where I show you a particular comic book title that I have every copy of in my collection. Sarah says, keep up the fantastic work you do, Chance Bartel. Thank you. And thank you for that $10 sticker. That's so generous of you. I owe you. I'll do a panel with you or do something. I owe you. I definitely owe you. All right. Let's see. Cause I'm deciding, I don't know if I want to do memberships on the Podblast. I may even take the membership off on Chanceactingdemo, my other channel, because, I want to make sure I'm giving people bang for their buck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I was thinking about doing like private streams, on the Nostalgic Podblast, but I don't know if I want to turn that on just yet. I don't know. I mean, I'd feel bad. I still feel, I still owe you because you're a member of my other channel. Some other people are. I said I would put exclusive content, and I put a little bit like the first 2 Spectre-Man episodes there for members only, but I need to do more. I mean, because, even at like $2 or $3 a month, yeah, that's less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, but still, if you don't have a whole lot of disposable income, that's a lot, and I want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. Honest to goodness. Keebler says, no rush. I'm listening while working on something to drop on Saturday. Okay, cool. Judgment Day, Mike Harper just said, I have some Star Wars comics. I got some Star Wars comics. Yeah, the Marvel Star Wars or Dark Horse, probably Marvel. Are they the Marvel Star Wars comic books? I have the whole run. There's 105 issues of Marvel's Star Wars, the original run. Excuse me. I have thrown my voice out doing these silly voices tonight. Dark Empire 1 and 2 and Empire's End. There you go. Thank you for specifying which Star Wars comics you have in your collection, Judgment Day, Mike Harper. Appreciate that. Okay, well, let's move on to Iron Fist. Now, Iron Fist, like I said, I showed you the first edition. I deleted the photo from my book. I still have it. He first debuted in Marvel Premiere issue number 15 before he got his own title. He was in issue 15 through 25 of a book called Marvel Premiere. I've showed you every issue ever made of Marvel Premiere in a previous live stream here on the Nostalgic Podblast from my collection. but he first premiered in issue number 15. He had his premiere in Marvel Premiere. How fitting. And Danny Staten says, South Carolina, some Star Wars comics are valuable. Yes, they are. The Boba Fett origin, where he got out, actually, it's like his origin, and issue 68 of Star Wars, the first one that shows Boba Fett. I want to say 43, Star Wars 43. That one's a hot comic book in terms of the Marvel run. Of course, issue 1 is the first appearance in the Marvel universe of the Star Wars characters. And there's some others too. The last issue, is it 105 or 106? I think there's 105, might be 107 issues of Star Wars. Now I got to look it up. Gosh darn it. But let me look at Iron Fist real quick. Hang on. Iron Fist. And there's some key books you're about to see. Pretty valuable books. I'm going to show you in a moment. God bless America. Iron Fist. All right. I didn't have time to prepare this. Normally I'd have it at the tip of my finger. Let me see. Where the hell is it? Okay. There we go. Okay, this will be easy to do. All right, I'm just pulling up. There's only 15 issues of this book. I'm just trying to pull something up. Oh, Judgment Day Mark Harper says they have a few Star Wars comic books at the library. I didn't know libraries had comic books. Wow. Are they like in digital form or are they print? And if they're in print, how are they protected? Wow. You can check them out, or do you have to look at them there at the library? I've never heard of that. That's wild. Let me change my camera shot temporarily. Just for the heck of it. So you can see my gorgeous face. All right. Let me see about Iron Fist. Okay. Some information about Iron Fist really quickly. Iron Fist. His alter ego is Daniel Thomas Danny Rand. Like Danny Staten or Danny Cochran. He's a character appearing in Marvel Comics, created by Roy Thomas and artist Gil Kane. First appeared in Marvel Premiere number 15 from March of 1974, which I showed you from my collection. The character is a martial arts wizard and a wielder of a mystical force known as the Iron Fist, which allows him to summon and focus his chi, like Tai Chi. The ability is obtained from the city of Kunlun, which appears on Earth every 10 years. He starred in his own solo series in the 1970s. I'm going to show you all 15 issues of in just a sec. And shared the title Power Man and Iron Fist for several years with Luke Cage, the hero for hire, partnering with Cage to form the superhero team Heroes, plural, Heroes for Hire. Rand frequently appeared with the daughters of the dragon duo Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, with Rand, not to be confused with Yeoman Janice Rand in the original Star Trek and the Star Trek motion pictures with the original cast. Rand often seen in a relationship with the former, marking the first interracial romance in Marvel Comics history. The character has starred in numerous solo titles since, including The Immortal Iron Fist, and there was a magazine with Iron Fist back in the 70s, which expanded on his origin story and the history of the Iron Fist. Yeah, right. Iron Fist has been adapted to appear in several animated television series and video games. Let's look at the first issue of Iron Fist, not the first appearance, but the first issue where he's battling Iron Man. This is from my collection, a gorgeous copy. Oh, look. All right. Let me get back to what Judgment Day Mike Harper said. Knights of the Old Republic. Danny Staten said, well, Mike Harper's in Virginia. They got coloring books in the library he goes to. I'll show them tomorrow when I go live. Your Star Wars comics? Cool. Haha. All right, cool. So let me now show you issue number 1 of Iron Fist from my collection. It's right there. It's a completely gorgeous copy. It's like perfect. Absolutely perfect. I will look up the values of this book. Okay. Hello again. So we're talking about this character, Iron Fist, who's a martial arts artist wizard with literally a massively powerful fist. Iron Fist has been adapted to appear in several animated television shows and video games. As I already said, Finn Jones portrayed the title character in the live-action Marvel Cinematic Universe MCU Netflix television series Iron Fist from 2017 to 2018, and The Defenders in 2017, and the second season of Luke Cage in 2018. So it's about time that he came back, I think. Really quickly, Iron Fist, along with the previously created martial artist Shang-Chi, who first appeared, by the way, in Marvel Special Edition 15, which I have in my collection, a perfect copy. I need to have it graded. And previously, that book, Marvel Special Edition, were reprints of Thor comic books from the 1960s. It started as a double-sized book, but it was a single-sized edition by the time issue 15 came along, which introduced Shang-Chi, the master of Kung Fu. Okay, so let me start over. Iron Fist, along with the previously created martial artist Shang-Chi, who hit in 1973, came from Marvel Comics during an American pop culture trend in the early to mid-1970s of martial arts heroes. Writer and co-creator Roy Thomas wrote in a text piece in Marvel Premiere number 15 that Iron Fist's origin and creation owe much to the Bill Everett character John Amman, the Amazing Man, created in 1939. Bill Everett also created the Submariner, by the way. Back then in Marvel Comics issue 1, Roy Thomas later wrote that he and artist co-creator Gil Kane had, quote, started Iron Fist because I'd seen my first Kung Fu movie, even before a Bruce Lee movie came out. And it had one thing called the Ceremony of the Iron Fist in it. Oh, so you ripped it off. No, I'm kidding. I thought that was a good name. And we already had Master of Kung Fu going, but I thought maybe a superhero called Iron Fist, even though we had Iron Man, would be a good idea. Publisher Stan Lee liked the name. He just says Stan, I'm paraphrasing, but Stan liked the name. So I got a hold of Gil Kane, and he brought in his Amazing Man influences, and we designed the character together. The film mentioned by Roy Thomas is King Boxer, otherwise known as Five Fingers of Death, released in 1972, which presents the Iron Fist technique. Thomas further discussed the character's creation, stating, quote, when Stan Lee gave me a verbal approval to star him in a series, I contacted artist Gil Kane and we worked out the costume and story. I had Gil give him a dragon brand on his chest inspired by the one branded into Bullseye, a great Western character created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. At Gil's urging, we took some story elements from Bill Everett's 1939 hero Amazing Man, which itself had borrowed heavily from James Hilton's novel Lost Horizon, and the first movie made from it, which introduced Shangri-La to the world. All right, so there's only 15 issues, which you're going to see, including the first one, which is on the screen now, of Iron Fist. Debuting in a story written by Roy Thomas and penciled by Gil Kane in the umbrella title Marvel Premiere number 15 from March of 74 through issue 25 from July of 1975, he was then written successfully by Len Wein, who is credited for creating Wolverine, Doug Moench, Tony Isabella, and Chris Claremont. Chris Claremont was a prolific X-Men writer for decades in the comic books, with art by successive pencilers Larry Hama, Avril Jones, Pratt Broderick, and in some of his earliest professional work, John Byrne, one of my favorite comic book artists, who had great runs on the X-Men, the Fantastic Four on the Marvel side, and Superman on the DC side, among other things. And I liked his work with Carlton Comics as well, in Doomsday -1 and other titles. That's how he kind of got discovered by Marvel, by drawing for that independent. Well, it wasn't really independent, but it was a lesser known Marvel comic book publisher than Marvel or DC, Carlton Comics. As the Marvel Premiere issues had successfully established a considerable readership for the character of Iron Fist, following this run of 10 issues, or issues 15 through 25, Iron Fist was immediately spun off into the solo series Iron Fist, which ran for 15 issues. And it ran from August of 75 until June of 77. The solo series was written by Chris Claremont and penciled by John Byrne. A subplot involving the Steel Serpent, left unresolved by the cancellation of the series, was wrapped up in issues number 63 and 64 of Marvel Team Up, which is a Spider-Man title. The latter of which featured Rand Kiss Misty Knight, marking the first interracial kiss and first long-term interracial couple in Marvel Comics history, as well as the first couple with an age difference in which the woman was older than her man. To rescue the character of Iron Fist from cancellation, Marvel paired Iron Fist with another character who was no longer popular enough to sustain his own series. That's Luke Cage, the hero for hire. The two characters were partnered in a 3-part story in Cage's series Power Man, issues 48 through 50. And John Byrne drew those issues. The title of the series was changed to Power Man and Iron Fist with issue number 50 from February of 1978. No, January 1978. Although because what I'm reading from has the cover dates and not the real street date, so I had to do some quick thinking there. Yes, it was from January 78, issue 50 of Power Man and Iron Fist. That's when it actually hit the public in real time, calendar time. Iron Fist co-starred in the series until the final issue, number 125, from June of 1986. Okay, so we could that's enough, I think, history of Iron Fist. Oh, let me just quickly say, after the cancellation in 1986, Iron Fist was revived half a decade later in Namor, the Submariner, issues number 21 through 25 from September 1991 until January 1992, a story which revealed the character was killed in a story which revealed that the character killed in Power Man and Iron Fist number 125 was a doppelganger, meaning a double. Okay. The story was both written and drawn by John Byrne, who found the manner of Iron Fist's death objectionable and later commented, quote, "In one of those amazing examples of Marvel serendipity, it turned out to be fairly easy not only to resurrect Danny, but to make him seem like that was the plan all along." Iron Fist then became a frequently starring character in the anthology series Marvel Comics Presents, which began in 1988, featuring a 3-part story arc and 4-part one-shot story in 1992 and 1993. 2 solo miniseries followed, Iron Fist Volume 2 in 1996. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about the origin of Iron Fist and just show you the books. It's getting boring. Okay, so there's Iron Fist issue 1 from my collection. It's right here in this box. This is a hot, hot box. It has Iron Man issue number 1 in it. But look, he's fighting Iron Man. Iron Fist is fighting Iron Man. Duel of Iron. Let me just hold it up because I put these back in the box. I mean, it is a perfect copy. So now I will tell you the values and when this book was released to the public for the first time. The values of Iron Fist 1. Let's see here. Go collect in terms of grades. It's not a first appearance, so it's not going to be like super, super valuable. But let's see. This is probably a 9.6. Could be a 9.8. Only $325 because it's not the first appearance. That's the fair market value of actual sales of actually graded books. Now, this comic book, in terms of real time, let me look that up. I should have had that pulled up. It hit the public in 1975 on hang on. It's populating. My wonderful sources here. Okay. The copy you see there, anyone who's watching, I'm not going to put this in the audio platform, just too visual tonight, I think. This is from August 12th, 1975, Iron Fist issue number 1. Now I can move much quicker going through the other 14 issues that are left of this title. Let me just look up the key side and key collector, Iron Fist 1 key collector comics. And look what they say, a high grade, non-graded copy is $150. The key facts about this title or this comic book, Iron Fist 1, it's the first solo titled Iron Fist series. I told you about the others a moment ago. It's the first appearance of the Steel Serpent in a standard comic book, previously appearing in the magazine Iron Fist format. Okay. Let me just look something up. Iron Fist key. I like to have this at the ready so that I don't have to waste time stuttering. Iron Fist by Marvel. Here we go. Okay, cool. Now this tells me what the next keys are. Okay, this is what I need. So the next one is a key as well. Let's just move on to issue number 2. Iron Fist issue number 2. I'll show you the cover in just a second. Hit the comic book spinner racks on September 9th, 1975. And it's got a cool cover. If you're still out there, Danny State, and I think you'll like this one because it's got a monster in it. Right there. There's issue 2. Let's see what it says. It says, Martial Arts Mayhem in the Forest of Fear. The living weapon. Iron Fist is saying, unless I can destroy this creature, that helpless girl is doomed. Valley of the Damned. There you go. That is Gil Kane cover art. It is a key. Here's my copy. Perfect copy. Perfect. It's just perfect. Let me take these out. Excuse me while I whip these out. Ah! Excuse me while I whip these out. Oh, I'm just so hysterical. All right, there's that. Let me just look at the key values of issue 2. We're only going to go through a few more of these in this title. Oh, gosh bless. Okay. I'm going to not go through. Well, yes, I will. All right. Go collect. Let me look at a graded copy of issue 2, what the value is in terms of actual sales of actual graded copies. $70, 9.6. Okay. Got a super key coming up in this title in just a moment. Now, when was it released to the public? I think I already said that. Yeah, I already said that. September 9th, 1975. Okay. Now, on the key side of things, Key Collector Comics says it's the origin of Iron Fist, the first appearance of Miranda, the half-sister of Danny Rand, who later becomes Death Sting. Key Collector says a non-graded, high-grade copy of this book is about $45 in the present economy, but I don't put much stock into what they say about the values. Now, if you're selling, you want to cite it. If you're a seller, I mean, if you're a buyer, rather, if you're a buyer, I got that backwards. If you're at a show, you might want to pull Key Collector Comics on your phone, because in a lot of shows, there's mostly raw books that are not graded, and you can say, look, well, this says it's worth 25. Will you negotiate? You know what I mean? And graded, you could turn around and get it graded and flip that book for a nice little profit, but that's besides the point. Okay, so let's move on to issue number 3. Issue number 3 of Iron Fist hit the streets and newsstands and spinner racks on November 11th, 1975. And that cover is right here. Oops, I pulled it. It's right here from my collection. It's that book you see there. Look at the writing. Now that's writing. If it's graded, it doesn't count against you. That's from the distributor. In the eye in Iron Fist, someone had written a date. That's the date that he or she is supposed to remove the book from the spinner rack or newsstand and put the new edition in its place. And again, my friend Jeff Logan told me that grading companies do not count against that, believe it or not. That's not considered damage. So there's that one. Let me put it back in the box. Hey, look here, by the way, there's an Iron Man number 1. There's an Iron Man and Submariner number 1. One shot. Predates Iron Man 1 from 1968. Wow. January 68. But I digress. We're talking about Iron Fist issue number 3. Let me just say, I know it's not a key, so we'll move on. Issue 4. Not greatest shape, my copy. I got to be honest. I'm always honest. There's issue 4. Just probably needs a pressing. There's issue 4, Iron Fist, which was released, let's see, on January 6th, 1976. So it's bi-monthly because the last issue was in November of 76. This is January 6th, 1976. All right, let's move on to the next issue. Issue number 5 of Iron Fists. This is our series, Every Issue Ever Made. This is from March 2nd, 1976. It's right there. Let me see. I think this one is a key. It is. First appearance of Scimitar. That's spelled Scimitar. All right. And this book hit, I already said, March 2nd, 1976. Let's get to the next one then. Issue number 6 of Iron Fist. There's only 15 issues of this title. From May 4th. May the 4th be with you, 1976. Ironically, Star Wars was being filmed on May 4th, 1976. It was filmed in 1976, released obviously May 25th, 77 in limited release. And let me look it up. I didn't show it to you. Look at this dude in the chair here. God, click the wrong thing. May the 4th, 1976. And what does it say? You have searched for your beloved Colleen Wing for months, Iron Fist, and now that you've found her, one of you must die. The shocker you never thought you would see, Deathmatch. Issue number 6 of Iron Fist. Let's get on with issue number 7. Let me see if there's any keynotes. This is from June 1st, 76. Oh, so now it's monthly. Now it's monthly. But I don't think I mentioned. Yeah, I did. The key. There's issue number 7, June 1st, 1976. Let me just say, oh, the last one, there was a key. Let me put it back up. Boy. I didn't mention this yet. Issue 6. It's the origin of Misty Knight and how she lost her arm. And it's the first full appearance of Jaren Hogarth. All right. But now we're talking about the next issue. So issue 7 from June 1st, 1976. Let's just move on to the next one. I don't think it's a key. It's not. The next one is a great key cover. I love the artwork by John Byrne. It's been made into posters, t-shirts. It's this issue number 8 of Iron Fist. It's the origin of Iron Fist retold, but because of the cover, it's a highly desired comic, and it's in my collection, and it's right here. Hang on, where is it? I haven't been showing these. There it is. There's my copy. As you see, photographed there. I photographed my copy right there. There's that one. Let me just look up. I shouldn't even mention Key Collector. I don't buy their values. You know, I think they're worth more than what they claim, but they say it's a $50 book. I don't necessarily think that. Let me look at the comments real quick. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm going to mention my sponsor in a little bit, Remind Magazine, remindmagazine.com. Thank you for that. Danny said, I had the Iron Man comics back in the day and the Iron Fist comics back in the day. That's cool. And Judgment Day, Mike Harper said on Monday, I was watching a copied tape of a bunch of different superhero shows, The Amazing Spider-Man, Batman, the animated series, Superman, Hawkman, Aquaman, Teen Titans, and X-Men 97. Very cool. It also had the original Batman movie on it. That's a cool tape. Night, Tracy. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And I'm going to have some more Space Giants for you in a few days. I'm going to conclude the storyline where Rodak has tainted the water supply on Earth and he attacked New York City. Oh my gosh. I didn't want to release that one until after New Year's Eve. And then look what happened, you know? We had terrible things happen in other parts of the country related to really evil, bad people. Okay, so let's get back to, let's see, issue 4. I got to put these up. Okay. Okay, issue 8. I do want to look up and see what the actual sales at Go Collect are for this book. Here we go. Issue number 8, because this is a key book. See what a graded copy of Iron Fist 8 goes for. It's a minor key, written by Chris Claremont, the great X-Men writer, with John Byrne. Okay, only $154 at a 9.6 grade. That's all right. All right, now let's get on with the next one. An issue 8, by the way, I don't think I mentioned this, unbelievably, this is from July 6th, 1976, issue 8 of Iron Fist. Issue 9 of Iron Fist is from August 3rd, 1976. Here it is from my collection. Let me see if there's anything special about that. Oh, I didn't put it on the screen for anyone watching. There we go. There's the next issue, issue 9. And issue 9 of Iron Fist is not a key. Next key is issue 12. So let's get on with the next one. That would be issue 10. And this has another distribution mark on it. This is from September 7th, 1976. Issue 10 of Iron Fist. It's right there for my collection. Look at that mark. There it is right there. And it says, "Wanted, Iron Fist, Kung Fu Killer. Can't let that murderer escape. Fire! No! You'll hit Colleen." There's that one. All right, and here's issue number 11. This one is cool. That's the Wrecking Crew. Wrecking Crew. And this book first hit on November 2nd, 76. So now it's bi-monthly again. Because the last one before that was from September 7th, 76. This one, issue number 11, which my copy is just absolutely gorgeous, is from November 2nd, 1976. Let me look at my keynotes. It's not a key, according to Key Collector. All right, let's move on to the next one that is a key. And it's this one. It's the first time that Iron Fist and Captain America battled and met. Seems like this one should have been out on July 4th, 76, a bicentennial year, but it wasn't. It's okay. This book actually hit the public. Oh, gosh, I hit the wrong thing. No, I didn't. January 4th, 77. So now we're into 1977. And it is a key. I'll tell you some notes about that really fast. This is the first, like I said, I already said this, the first meeting of Captain America and Iron Fist. Wow. According to Key Collector, I don't put stock into what they say. High grade is $60. That's more than I would think for this particular comic. Now I better look up Go Collect on this one, which is right here. Issue 12 of actual graded sales. Up to date, recent sales here in 2025, only $120, 9.6. A 9.8, though, that can go up several $100s. And I can't see what 9.8 actual sales are unless I'm a member of Go Collect, and I'm not. I have no desire to be a member of that unless they gift me a membership for some sort of sponsorship. There's that. All right, so there's that issue. And then the next one after issue 12, aren't these covers cool? I think they're really cool. There, we've got from March 1st, 1977. Ooh, Star Wars was right around the corner and about to blast into movie cinemas. This is a preview of Sabretooth. A teaser for the following issue depicts the silhouette of Sabretooth. Sabretooth, this is a real key book coming up. There's issue 13. Target Iron Fist. Did I hold this one up? I don't know if I did. There's the one with Cap. Here's issue 13. God dang it. Issue 13. Right there. Back again, deadlier than ever, Boomerang. There's that issue. Now, here comes the one a lot of you have been wanting to see. This is a key book that introduces Sabretooth, who was the villain from the X-Men movie, the first X-Men movie that had the fight with Wolverine in the snow. He came back in Deadpool and Wolverine in the summer of 2024. This was the first appearance of this character, Sabretooth. This is from May 3rd, 1977. Star Wars was just about to hit movie theater screens. Here's my copy. Issue 14 of Iron Fist. It's an awesome key. That's before he ever tangled with Wolverine, obviously. Let me look at the values of this book. So, let's see here. Actual sales of 9.6 graded copies of this book go for over $1,000. Fair market value is $1,050. 1 year average is $1,171. So I had a bump because of the movie, Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's see, its 30-day average is $1,042. 90-day average is $1,107. 1 year average is $1,171. I know I'm repeating myself, but this is a cool book. Let me look at what Key Collector has to say. Key Collector says, this is the first full appearance and cover of Sabretooth, a mutant who becomes the primary nemesis of Wolverine. And non-graded high grades, $550, according to Key Collector. But again, they're always on the low side of things. And I have a reprint of it too. This is the actual 1977 copy. Let me put my monitor up so you can see. I sound like Bob Barker. The actual retail price, $550. No, but there's my copy. Awesome book. The second appearance, a lot of people don't know, of Sabretooth was in a canceled title, Ms. Marvel. And that was actually published years later. It was supposed to be published in 1978, but it was published in 1993 in Marvel Super Special. So it's a big debate about what the second appearance of Sabretooth is. But it was drawn and written back then in 1978, the second appearance. Here's the reprint I talked about that I have in my collection from the Marvel Milestone Edition, which also reprints the ads in it. But I've got the real thing. So I just love that book. I probably need to press it out a little bit, but it's in really nice condition. First appearance of Sabretooth, whom you saw in the movies. So let's get on to the final issue of Iron Fist. I've gone almost 2 hours, a lot longer than I intended to here on the fly. It's issue 15 of Iron Fist, and there's some significance about this issue as well. There's issue 15 because the X-Men are in it, and this is the second time John Byrne drew the X-Men. I think that's very significant. First time he drew them was in a title called Marvel Team Up, issue number 53, which featured Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk, with the X-Men making cameo appearances. And then John Byrne took over the artist chores of X-Men from Dave Cockrum in issue 108 of X-Men. And he drew, penciled the X-Men through issues 108 through 143 with Chris Claremont writing the titles. But this is the first time that Byrne and Claremont teamed up. No. Claremont wrote Marvel Team Up 53 as well, come to think of it. So this is the second collaboration between John Byrne and Chris Claremont and the X-Men. And it's the second time that John Byrne drew the X-Men before he took over the actual title X-Men. So this is a crossover appearance by the X-Men. It's the final issue of Iron Fist. It's the first appearance of Bushmaster, who's a crime lord. It's not worth a whole lot, but I love it. That's just a beautiful copy from my collection. 9.6 graded copies, $191 of this book. And that's all I got to say about that. So there's my copy, the copy you're seeing there, right there in my hot little hand, or cold little hand. Cold hands, warm heart. I'm freezing here because of the cold weather. Now, I'm going to show y'all some cool super comics in my collection while I have this box open. It's usually tucked away. Let me change my camera shot. Hey. And is anyone out there? I probably bored everyone to death. Betrayals. Tracy says, Danny Staten, you like Iron Man, right? I'm going to show you some cool Iron Man comic books. Thanks for still being here. I know this is a very boring show if you don't like comic books. All right. And it's not really a Podblast per se. Oh, dude, look at these. I have all of them, of course. I sound so cocky. This is a one-shot. This was after Tales of Suspense issue number 99 was published. In between that and Iron Man issue 1 and Captain America issue 100. Special once-in-a-lifetime issue. They paired up Iron Man and Submariner. One-shot. Perfect copy for my collection. I need to get it graded because these are the books that are going to start deteriorating. You know, the older they get. There's Iron Man issue number 1 for 1968. Big premiere issue. I'm going to do another video now that I have StreamYard with, I have all the big premiere issues of 1968 and I'll show them to you. That includes Incredible Hulk issue 102, obviously Iron Man 1, Submariner 1. Anyway, there's a bunch of them. Doctor Strange issue 169. There's a lot of them. Anyway, there's that. Look, here's Iron Man issue 2. I'll just quickly go through these. These are kind of cool. Iron Man issue 3 with the Freak. The Freak. The Freak must be horny. Sorry. I mean, what are you doing, Freak? Now we know that's Pepper Potts, the redhead, and that's actually Happy Hogan. I think he's transformed into the Freak by a supervillain, and he first appeared in Tales of Suspense, the predecessor. Well, not the predecessor. Captain America was the predecessor, but there's Iron Man issue 4. Great, gorgeous copy for my collection. I got to be real careful with these books. Real careful. I'm not going to look at the values and all that. Just do some rapid fire cover showing if you like the art. There's issue 5. This was the first Iron Man. This for a long time when I was a kid. This was the earliest Iron Man I ever had. I got it from Book Nook in the 80s, like 1982 at Book Nook with Danny Cochran. And then I managed to get, the earlier ones and got the rest. There's issue number 6 with the Vengeance Cries the Crusher. Oh, I love this guy, the Gladiator. Talked about him earlier. He's a villain for Daredevil originally. His first appearance, I think, is right here. Yeah, I got it right here. Hold on. Damn, I thought I had it right here. Shoot. Oh, no, I put it in that box. Never mind. I have several copies of the first Gladiator, but there's Gladiator. Cry Gladiator. He's a cool villain with those whizzing blades. And this is such a gorgeous copy and gorgeous colors. Look at the purple. There's part 2, issue 8 of Iron Man with the Gladiator. Look at that. A Duel Must End. I just love this book and I love the colors and the copy and it's good. It's good. Let me see if there's any more in here that you might be interested in, Danny Staten. Giving you a comic book peep show, Danny Staten. This ain't no peep show. Remember Biff, Back to the Future? All right, let's see. This ain't no peep show. Here comes a key book. Another key in the Iron Man world. Because it's Iron Man versus the Hulk. There lives a green Goliath. And that was reprinted later in the Iron Man title, the cover and all. 10, 11, there's the Mandarin. I got them all. 12, first appearance of the Controller, I think. Cry Carnage. By the way, I'm still upset about the death of Linda Lavin, the star of Alice. I love that show. I never met the lady. I almost did on Wanderlust. Her scenes were shot in New York. My scene was shot in Georgia, here in Georgia, where I'm at. Always wanted to meet her. Let's see here. I think that's a good stopping point. Let me just see if there's anything else in this box. Of course, I've got, because it's alphabetical, the Indiana Jones books. There's the Temple of Doom movie adaptation. There's all the Human Fly. Danny, you probably know this character. A stuntman. Why is this in here? That is not supposed to be there. I have them all. It's just that must be a duplicate issue. That shouldn't be there. What the hell? Oh, crap. Oh, look. This is the tail end of my Hulk box. There's Hulk Annual 5. That's the second appearance of Groot. I am Groot. He first appeared in 1960. They didn't bring him back until 1976. 16 years later. Look, and it's all the monsters. Do you like monsters, Danny, if you're still out there? Look at that. Keebler said, peep show. Where? I'm awake now. This ain't no peep show. Remember when he's trying to make out with Marty McFly's mom in the car? It's terrible. Oh, God. Groot, the Titan, Blip, Diablo. These are like the return of the monsters from the pre-superhero Marvel comics. I love this annual. It's underrated. It's so cool. Oh, and I got 2 of them. Good. I got 3 of them. I didn't even know. Another monster. Oh, I think the Sasquatch. Danny, you like Sasquatch? Yeah. I got 2 of these too. Hulk versus Sasquatch. And look, Marvel's TV sensation. This is 1979 after, the Hulk was so successful on CBS TV Friday night. Oh, look, a pair. Hang on. I love this storyline, if you can hear me. Got 2 of these as well. I wanted a newsstand. I bought this when I was like 10 years old when it was new, from 1982 or something. That's the year Sarah was born, Southern California. And she'd probably be saying that if you're on with me. But this is where the leader poisons the water supply, trying to turn everyone green from gamma radiation in the water supply. It's a very serious, real good. The artwork wasn't the best, but it was a cool story. So I got a newsstand with the UPC symbol and a direct copy of that story. It's just kind of a sentimental one. I just love that storyline. Like Rodak's doing in the Space Giants episodes 29, 30, 31, and 32. He's putting Xena, a chemical, in the Earth's water supply to turn humans into the servants of Rodak, a demonic-looking alien who wants to conquer and take over the Earth. That's a show from 1966 and 1967. I've been putting on my YouTube channel. It's in the public domain. I love it. I always have the annuals after the regular titles. So this isn't my Hulk box. Oh yeah, but look here. Temple of Doom 1. I showed you 2 a moment ago. The movie adaptation, and I have Raiders also. I got all these. Look, oh, that's cool. Where he's ripping the guy's heart out. That's why it got PG-13 rated, Temple of Doom, because of that scene. And then I got the Last Crusade adaptations. That's a cool cover with Sean Connery, named after your father, perhaps. I used to be able to do it better. I can't. Okay. Oh yes. Belongs in the museum. And then there's John Byrne cover, Indiana Jones, The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones 1. Got several copies of that. I got that whole title as well in this box, doubles. I love Indiana Jones. And then another monster, Danny Staton, Hulk and Quasimodo, one shot, 1983. What else is in this box while I have it open? It's pretty much Iron. The rest is Iron Man 1 through. Ooh, I love this cover 1 through 100, but I have them all. I mean, I have like the first 400 issues of Iron Man, but there's 100 with the great cover by Jim Steranko, I believe. Yeah, Jim Steranko. Look at that. I love that cover where he's breaking through those steel girders. So cool. Iron Man. Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with a heart of steel. Can't sing. I lost my vocal cord years ago. That was the TV show where they literally took a comic book, a Tales of Suspense comic, and just, there was no animation. They'd move the mouths. And they had cool theme songs, though, for the Grant Lee Marvel Comics. First cartoons ever in 1966. Oh, wait, I got to show you a key in here, Danny. Super key. First appearance of Thanos, Iron Man 55, the Blood Brothers, Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. Key, super key book. Oh, you're getting hit with an ice storm now, says Danny Staten. Oh, jeez. And then there's another reprint of it, like they had for, I showed you for Iron Fist 14, for Sabretooth. Marvel Milestone Edition even reprints the ads. That's a super key. Let me look up the value of that book, and then I'll sign off. I don't know why that human fly was in that box. That's bothering me. It's alphabetical. Obviously, HUM is after HUL, Hulk. So the human flies, the rest of them should be here. That's really messing me up. I guess I'll leave it in that box. God dang. Oh, dude. What else is in here is the full run of the Invaders. Speaking of Invaders, the TV show. Oh, you like that Bigfoot cover, Danny? Invaders, based on World War II, set in World War II. It's like the Avengers of the World War II era. I'm going to do every issue ever made of this. There's 41 issues. I have all of them. I meant to do that tonight. I didn't want to photograph 41 issues, but I damn photographed 31, so I might as well have done 10 more. And that would have been more fitting for the debut of the Invaders TV show I talked about tonight of tonight's live stream. Debuted January 10th, 1967 at 10 p.m. on, which is a Tuesday night on ABC TV. The Invaders, Roy Thinnis. This show. Another space alien invasion show, but this is entirely different. Same title only. But I got all these in here too. Let me look for some monster books before I go that you might like. Here's all the Infinity Gauntlet from 1991. Thanos. You know all about that from Avengers Endgame. And I have all of the Inhumans. I'll do every issue ever made. I'll probably do an Invaders and Inhumans. I have all those, the whole run. Inhumans, all alphabetical. Key book. I'm selling an extra copy of this on eBay right now. The Nostalgic Podblast is on eBay as well. But that's Union Jack, first appearance. A British hero. For some reason, this is a big key. Invaders issue 20. It's like a mint copy I have. It's because a team is formed, a different team with Union Jack. It looks like Black Panther just with the British flag on him. And then I got all the whole run. Let me see. All right, I'm going to wind up accidentally damaging something if I don't put this box away. I better do that. All right. Oh my God, my flock did it again. Girl, you done gave me $10. I think YouTube gets half, but still, that's so sweet of you, girl. It's cost you the full thing. What do I got to do to make it up to you? I have got to do something to make it up to you. Let me get to the comment. Girl, I swear. Everybody go to My Flock is Everywhere. If you want to have a good time, like if you engage in the herbage, you'll like her channel or whatever. You know, it's like anything goes, you know, except if you want to just hang out and laugh, you're going to want to see her live streams. Thank you so much, Sarah. Let me get caught up on the comments. I had the Iron Man comics back in the day. I know you said that in Iron Fist. I put that on the screen. Yeah, I did want to mention my sponsor. This isn't really one of the shows that I involve my sponsor in, the comic book shows, but I might as well talk about them. Why not? So I have another sponsor coming on board, but let me just show you the latest edition as we're live. The new issue will be out very soon. Talk about Remind Magazine. If you're watching this live stream, the chances are, no pun intended, you're into nostalgia. Well, that's what Remind Magazine is all about. Their wheelhouse is the 1950s through the 1990s. Tons of brain-teasing puzzles and games. And the best part is you can give the first year, that's 10 issues, including 2 double-sized issues, to a gift recipient of your choice, including yourself, for just $12 out the door, including tax, including shipping. And the regular price of this book is $6 plus tax at the newsstand. Barnes & Noble is a distributor of Remind Magazine, to name a national distribution point if you wanted to just buy a copy. But what can you get for $12 a month, much less $12 for the whole year anymore? Look at all those people we lost on the cover of the current edition. Shannon Doherty, David Soul, Phil Donahue, Willie Mays, my gosh, sports legends, Shelley Duvall, Richard Simmons, Mr. D. LaMille himself, James Earl Jones. Can't do it. The voice of Darth Vader, Terry Garr, Chris Christopherson. Oh my goodness. Bob Newhart, Donald Sutherland, so many more. Maggie Smith. Unreal. Well, anyway, here's how you can take advantage of this deal. It makes a great birthday gift. Go to remindmagazine.com, or you can call them old school. And let me show you that phone number. Sarah did it again. Let me, oh, gosh, thank you. All right, where is it? 855-773-6463 is the number to call. And please mention the Nostalgic Podblast when ordering, or you can order online at remindmagazine.com. $12. And then the next year, it just goes to $24, which is still just $2 an issue. Oh my gosh. $1 an issue for that first year. It's a no-brainer. And it is such a great magazine. So well written. It's written on an adult level while gently tapping your inner child. That's Remind Magazine. So thanks to them. Remind Magazine. And thanks to Keebler for reminding me to put that up. Okay, so Sarah, you did it again. Look at this. $2. She says $1.99 super sticker, $2. Congratulations, Chance. 1,000 subscriber family. Yes, and I'm very grateful to each and every subscriber. Okay, Danny Staten said, I want to see more Captain America World War II stuff, like with Wonder Woman and Submariner. Okay, I have that in my collection. I don't have a whole lot of Golden Age stuff. I've got some. That Bigfoot cover was cool. Yeah, I put that up on the screen. Yeah, that Hulk Annual 8, I think it was. That's the movie I want to see. With Sasquatch and the Hulk fighting? I'm looking forward to Superman 2025, July 11th, 2025, and the Fantastic Four on the Marvel side. That's going to be a fun month at the movies in July 2025. And Captain America before that. I do want to see the new Captain America movie on Valentine's Day 2025, which will be here very, very soon. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I owe you. So, God, that's so sweet of you. Danny Staten says, you notice every time you talk about me, someone donates. Indeed. Sarah, if you don't know her, she got a heart of gold, and she's funny. And I just like her positive attitude. Not a mean bone in her body. I mean, she's just such a sweet person. And I'm honestly, truly humbled and grateful. And she is near where those California wildfires are. I mean, she's safe. She's kind of near Riverside, California. I've been there, but it's been a while since 2002. So I know that area. But I'm really, really worried about everyone in the line of fire in that region. I mean, so many landmarks have been threatened and some were destroyed, and it just breaks my heart. Paramount Studios, Studio City, California, the transmission towers atop that mountain. It's horrible. But more importantly, the homes. It's the average family, which are not average. That's a very expensive real estate, but you know what I mean? I mean, it's just everyone that lost their home and their possessions. I don't care what your economic status is. That's horrible to lose. There's probably a lot of people in the industry that lost awards, people that won Emmy Awards, Grammy Awards. I bet a lot of things burned up, and that's just absolutely horrible and heartbreaking. But we've gone 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up. Appreciate everybody being here. Let me put on my other camera shot. See that stuff in the background. I need to change everything up again. I got my holiday and Christmas decorations taken down in the background and all over my home. But man, there's some other stuff. Let me duck down. There's Roy Thinnis, the Invaders in the background. Anyone that's watching. in front of a cool pinball hard covered book. I can't talk tonight. Pinball hard covered book. It's dated, but it's still very, very thorough and has some great information about classic pinball machines and pinball machine art. Anyway, Sanford and Son soundtrack record album, music by the late great Quincy Jones. He also passed in 2024 last year. Tough loss. And then Alice DVDs. I have all of them on DVD. I'm so sad. Linda Lavin was one of my my acting heroes, and there was a lot I wanted to mention. I did a tribute to her live, and I there's so many things I forgot to mention. One thing I forgot to mention doesn't really have anything to do with Linda Lavin, but it's about Alice. Anytime I watch Alice, I get hungry. They made jokes about Mel's chili being horrible, but then in some episodes it was award-winning and it was good. I guess they were just ribbing him about it being bad, but it really wasn't bad, especially Flo. She would make jokes about how crummy his chili was. But I always got hungry watching Alice in reruns, or even as a kid. I'm like, always have a full stomach when you watch reruns of Alice. Really good show. Released by Warner Brothers on DVD some years ago, and it's streaming on several outlets. Check your streaming provider of choice to see if Alice reruns are available. Check Tubi TV, Amazon Prime. I think there's a surcharge if you go the Prime route. It's Warner Brothers, so it might be on Max. I'm not sure. I haven't checked that, but I know it's streaming in 3 different places, and it's just a great, great show. So good night, everybody. I'm going to say good night now. Let me pull a clip I can play us out with that won't get me non-monetized. See, I'm struggling, Sarah, and everybody. I'm coming up with a new theme. If I can't get the music group to play ball and do a sharing thing, or let me just use a few seconds of my usual theme anymore, then I'm going to have to come up with a whole new musical theme. I want to say thanks to Keebler, no sugarcoating the truth. She's always behind the scenes, always out there, always helping. And she created a nice little pre-roll video for my channel that I like a lot. So thanks to that. Happy trails to you, Danny, Staten, and everybody. I'm just stalling here to find something that's not copyrighted I can play. This is all new to me. I think I'll go with the rare version of the Fall Guy theme, because I know it never aired. It's from my unaired version of the Fall Guy pilot, and I think that one will be okay. Yeah. Night, everybody. Thank you, Sarah, very much. So generous. Oh yeah, I'll do something nice. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who watched live or in the replay. Check out Brainbender's banner tomorrow night. I won't be there. I'll be watching the Steelers-Ravens game, but she's got something fun always, and I'll be back the following week. Brainbender's banner Saturday night, and then Sarah, My Flock is Everywhere, is every Tuesday and Thursday. Every Thursday for sure, sometimes Tuesday, with Snarky, and then Corey's comedy channel every Sunday night at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern time, and other times as well. And he does magic for members only. It's pretty cool. All right, so take care, and don't let the bed bugs bite, and say a prayer and help the folks in California if you can. It's really devastating there in Southern California as we're live. Good night.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been there with Farrah. I'm never seen with anything less than a 9. So fine. I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone fast with a girl named Bopo, but somehow they did not end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I'll take my chances. I die for a living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading lady kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I never spent much time in school, but I taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, hey, I've gotten burned over Gerald Teague blown up for Raquel Welch. But when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, hey, I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine. 'Cause I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood look so fine.
I thought L.A. was